I was looking through my closet last night and I found a big stack of game manuals, which is this stack right here. And what a game manual is let's say you buy a game for PS2. You open the game, on one side contains the disc, and on the other side there's this little slot that has a game menu, that has this thing. It's a game instruction booklet that tells you everything about it. Today's first, what we're going to do is I'm going to review these manuals. I'm going to answer some questions. Are they useful? And what do they say? I'm going to judge these manuals on some criteria. What do these what kind of information or is the information presentation very good? Are they useful? And, how much detail do they go in? Like the presentation, what I mean by presentation is, how is it laid out? Like, how is the table of contents laid out? How's all that laid out? Information depth is how deep do they go into explaining the stuff that's in the manual and the stuff that's in the game. And also usefulness, is the information actually going to help you? So the first manual today is ESPN NFL 2K5, the last NFL game made by Sega before ESPN and NFL's licenses were taken by Madden and EA. All right, let's go. Now from the opening here, I'm also going to give some comments at the end of the video about the manuals, but as you can see here, we've got ESPN NFL 2K5. It's basically the cover art. You got Terrell Owens, the cover athlete. You got the rating right here, and then Sega over here. Alright. Now, what strikes me on the front here is the table of contents. It explains a good amount of the stuff here. And the manual, including the credits, is 24 pages long. 24 pages. Alright. There's also the starting up, which is basically, your console thing and the controls. Let's dive in here. Summary. It's the season of the fan, the year of people coming together to celebrate sport, and uniting everyone is ESPN NFL 2K5, a coupling of the most responsive, intense gameplay around the richest multiplayer gaming experience possible, blah 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 blah. And it tells you there's ESPN presentation, VIP system, ESPN 25th anniversary mode, always online, maximum tackle, the crib, innovative franchise play, breakthrough moves, emotion of the NFL, updated first-person football, and your game, your music. Now let me just say that this front part kind of tells me that this is going to be kind of boring, and this isn't going to give me any useful information, because ESPN presentation I kind of gathered because it says ESPN NFL 2K5. VIP system, that I need to know about. 25th anniversary mode, that I need to know about. Always online, don't need to know that. I can figure that out myself. Maximum tackle, I don't know. That's a toss-up. The crib, that was in last year's game. We don't really need to know about that much. Innovative franchise play, toss-up. Breakthrough moves, toss-up again. I guess that could be useful. Emotion of the NFL, we can kind of guess that by playing the game, which tells you like frantic turnover reactions, yada yada yada. Updated first-person football, again, we can figure that out. And your game, your music, again, we can figure that out. Right. Menu navigation. I think anybody that's this section of the page, these two pages right here are kind of worthless, because anybody who's played an NFL football game like Madden or the last year's game or the previous year's game, ESPN and NFL football, you could probably figure out the controls for getting through the menus and stuff. So, and it tells you in multiplayer games you can disguise the player calling. We already knew that. Offense prior to the snap. This is kind of useful because it tells you how you put the player in motion, how you hurry to the line. Hard count, bring up, dismiss the audible menu. You view the player's fatigue levels and the routes, R1 and L1. Timeout, that's kind of a duh, and hot routes. That's kind of useful. The audible menu is useful. It tells you how to call audibles. After the snap, quarterback controls. That kind is a duh. We know who to throw to. We know how to pump fake. We know how to scramble. It's been in football games for years. Running plays. Again, this is after last year's game, or this is after the previous year's game, and the previous year's game stuff kind of was explained in that manual. So there really isn't anything new about this. Offensive player control. After the player's over, kind of don't need to know about that. Defense prior to the snap. That's kind of useful. It tells you how to blitz people, things like that. More defensive stuff. Main menu. We can kind of figure that out ourselves. It tells you quick game, crib. Telling you how to bump to the new beats. Tells you the game modes, which we can figure that out as well. Online, that's kind of a given. Features, we can figure that out too. Creating a user account. That we kind of need to know. It tells you the steps on how you need to configure your online settings and things like that. User account. Creating a user account, that's kind of a thing there. Online menu, that's kind of common sense, but you can figure that out. Create a match. It tells you basically create a match, leagues, and then the credits. Credits officially. Actually, counting the credits, it's 30 numbered pages long. Right, let's do a little bit of review here. We'll start with information, information presentation. I'm going to score these in counts of 5. Information presentation, I really don't know what to say about that. It's kind of, they just kind of give it, there's no real, like, in-game, like, there's no real in-game screens showing you how everything works. There's a screen right here on the play call screen thing. Then there's one right here. And there's one right here. And then there's maybe one or two I missed, but there's no real, it basically just tells you this. Da-da-da. It says X, da-da-da-da-da, Y, B, da-da-da, or no, not B. Circle, da-da-da-da-da. By the way, this was for the PlayStation 2. B, da-da-da-da-da, or circle, da-da-da-da-da, X, da-da-da-da-da, square, da-da-da-da-da. Basically, there's no real, it doesn't really give you any pizzazz. It doesn't really give you any, doesn't tell you anything. Like, it doesn't give you a different way. So I'm going to give presentation, info presentation. I like the front of the cover here. I like the presentation on that. But the rest of the guide's pretty bland. I'm going to give it a 2. 2 out of 5. Information depth. Again, it doesn't really go... It does go into some sort of depth into explaining the information in the game. I'm going to give that a 3. 3 out of 5. And finally, usefulness. Most of this stuff was explained in ESPN NFL Football's manual, which I also have, and I'm going to review that about 2 or 3 manuals from now. About 2 manuals from now. 2 reviews from now. This is going to be a review of that one. In fact, I'll show it to you. See? It's this one right here. I actually have 2 of these, because I got 2 copies of the game. One of them didn't work. But yeah, this is basically... I think it's kind of useful, but it's basically a rehash of ESPN NFL Football. It just tells you stuff we already knew about from last year's game, so I'm going to give it a 2. Overall score, 8 of 15, which if I do my math right, that's a 2.67 out of 5 average. 8 of 15 is the score. This is kind of below average guide. All this stuff was explained in the previous year's guide or manual. That's it. I'll see you all in the next review. Peace.